Close your eyes and travel back with me, back through the mists of time, to a world that existed long before cities rose from the earth, before the hum of civilization as we know it. We're going to a place where wild grasses whispered secrets to the wind, and small, striped cats prowled silently through the shadows. Around 10,000 years ago, in a region we now call the Fertile Crescent, that curved embrace of land stretching from Egypt through the Middle East, something remarkable was beginning. Humans were learning to plant seeds, to grow crops, to settle in one place. And with these stored grains came mice, thousands upon thousands of mice, drawn to the promise of an endless feast. But the mice weren't alone in noticing this bounty. Small wildcats, Felis sylvestris libica, the African wildcat, began to venture closer to these early farming settlements. Unlike their human-wary cousins, some of these cats possessed a rare quality. They were just bold enough, just curious enough to approach. They weren't seeking human companionship. Not yet. They were hunting. And what they hunted saved the very grain stores that would feed entire villages through winter. The humans noticed, of course. But here's where something beautiful happened. Something different from how we domesticated dogs, or horses, or any other animal. We didn't capture these cats. We didn't train them or force them into our service. The cats, in their infinite wisdom, essentially domesticated themselves. They chose us, in a way. Or rather, they chose the ecosystem we had created. Scientists call this commensal domestication. Two species living side by side, each benefiting without force or coercion. Generations passed like grains of sand through an hourglass. The cats that were slightly less fearful, slightly more tolerant of human presence, thrived. They had easier access to prey. Their kittens grew up among the sounds of human activity, learning that these tall, strange creatures weren't threats. Over thousands of years, almost imperceptibly, these wildcats began to change. Their brains grew slightly smaller, about 25% smaller than their wild ancestors, a common feature in domesticated animals who no longer needed the same hypervigilance to survive. But here's something that will surprise you. Despite living alongside humans for 10,000 years, cats are far less genetically different from their wild ancestors than dogs are from wolves. A house cat could still, theoretically, survive in the wild. They retained their independence, their hunting prowess, their dignity. They agreed to coexist with us, but on their own terms. By around 7,500 years ago, cats had made their way to the island of Cyprus. We know this because archaeologists discovered something extraordinary. A cat buried deliberately alongside a human in a grave, with seashells and polished stones arranged around them both. This cat had to have been brought to Cyprus by boat. Cats aren't native to the island. Someone cared enough about this cat to transport it across the sea and to lay it to rest with ceremony and love. Even then, 7,500 years ago, cats were more than pest control. They were companions. Now, let the story carry you further down the Nile to ancient Egypt, where the true love affair between cats and humans would blossom into something almost divine. The Egyptians didn't just appreciate cats, they revered them. They saw in cats' glowing eyes a reflection of the sun god Ra. They watched cats hunt snakes, including the deadly cobra, and saw protectors of the home. By around 3,000 years ago, cats in Egypt weren't just animals. They were sacred beings, honored in temples, mummified after death, mourned with shaved eyebrows by their grieving families. The goddess Bastet, with her cat's head held high, represented protection, fertility, and motherhood. Massive festivals were held in her honor, drawing hundreds of thousands of pilgrims. And the cats themselves? They were protected by law. Killing a cat, even accidentally, could mean death. When cats died naturally, their owners would mummify them with the same care given to human family members, wrapping them in linen, placing them in bronze or wooden coffin statues, sending them into eternity with mouse mummies as provisions for the afterlife. So breathe slowly now, and imagine those ancient Egyptian homes at night, the Nile flowing softly outside, oil lamps flickering golden light on painted walls, and there, curled on a cushion, a cat with amber eyes, watching over the family with the patience of centuries. A guardian, a companion, a small, purring mystery that chose, all those thousands of years ago, to walk beside us into history. Rest now, and let these ancient cats guide you gently into sleep.